Another week has gone by, and here we are at another Thursday for Update 3.1. December 9th, this one will drop, and there are a lot of changes to overall gun battles, vehicles, balances, and yes, the Bolt is going to get tickled a little bit. So we're going to break this down with a summary. If you guys enjoy this type of content and updates, please consider subscribing and tick that bell so you don't miss other 2042 content, and leave a thumbs up as it helps it get out there further. If you could do that, I would really appreciate it. So let's start with the overall summary here. We have improvement to bullets hit registration consistency. There are balance changes for bullet dispersion and recoil. There are further balance changes to ground vehicle 30mm, 40mm, and 57mm cannons to reduce their effectiveness against infantry. And there's a fix for a rare bug where a player could appear invisible to enemies. Now, these are the big options right here. There's also increased menu flow and other things, and audio changes that they address as the big options. Starting with the general changes. Players that are not the party leader can now cancel while waiting in a queue. Xbox crossplay can now be enabled or disabled in the options menu on Xbox. They have made improvements to ensure aim assist is more consistent during console gameplay, and the Ranger's effective combat range and overall health has been decreased. As for the audio changes, they have mentioned that they have made various tweaks to the overall audio experience to improve clarity, distance, and directional perception. And they have fixed an issue where soldiers would not always play indoor specific footsteps. For the weapon changes, they got the 40mm AP grenades now properly damage vehicles. They have fixed some weapons displaying wrong ammo counts for specific magazines. I see this a lot, honestly. The DXR-1 and NTW 50 bolt actions rifle reload animation increased by 0.2 seconds. They have adjusted dispersion values for most weapons, which results in faster dispersion decrease when tap firing or doing short bursts. Adjusted the dispersion increases for most weapons. It now takes slightly longer for weapons to become overly inaccurate in sustained fire, so longer bursts. Adjusted the recoil values to prevent over-aggressive recoil jumps for the AK-24, LCMG, PKP, SFAR, and the PP. They have improved hipfire accuracy for all of the SMGs to make them better stand out from other automatic weapon archetypes. I would generally be really excited about this, but we don't have close-quarter maps. Maybe this is going to really stand out for guns, but it should be a little safer for you to want to hipfire now. LMG dispersion and recoil lowered to improve performance in sustained fire. Interesting. Additional improvements to recoil control for all weapons, more specifically automatic weapons. They've increased the close range damage and consistency of the MCS 880 when using the buckshot shell or flechette. They have fixed a bug that caused bullets to be fired below the player aims for the SFAR and the K30. I've noticed that. I like this. As for the vehicle fixes, and this is a huge one, they have fixed a bug where the vehicle weapons sometimes did not deal blast damage on a direct hit. You notice this a lot with the 30mm, which is why people went for the feet and everything like that. Sometimes you could directly hit somebody and it would do no damage. Now for the tweak on the 30mm, they have reduced the effectiveness versus infantry. It now overheats faster, has a slightly reduced rate of fire and blast damage, and increased fall-off damage at a distance, which means bolts sitting up in the mountains can no longer just beam you easily. The hovercraft got a nerf to the 40mm GPL grenade launcher. The blast damage has been dropped from 55 to 35, nearly halved right there. The 40mm utility pod upwards firing angle is now easier to use. And the Wildcat 57mm cannon, they've removed dispersion. The ammo has gone down to 8 from 12. The impact damage from 85 down to 75. And the blast damage has been halved from 70 to 35. For the gadgets, the frag grenade was both nerfed and buffed. Its overall damage deals 120 now when it hits, which means it can kill armored targets, but they have increased the time to detonate from 1.1 seconds to 1.4 after the first bounce on a hard surface. They've also reduced frag and incendiary grenade max ammo count from 2 down to 1, so there's less spam with them. The proc sensor here was hit pretty hard. They have lowered the spotting radius from 30 meters down to 20 meters. They lowered the uptime from 30 seconds down to 14 seconds, and they've lowered the count from 2 to 1. So they are less spammable, and you can't just carelessly throw them everywhere. You're going to need to be more precise, and you're going to want to throw these into traffic lanes, not just up in an open general area now. Oh, and this is a big one. This is going to make everybody happy. We have some changes to Breakthrough. Kaleidoscope, Orbital, and Hourglass have had the rooftop objectives removed and replaced at a new location. Huge news, baby. Gotta love it. Breakthrough is so much more viable now. Amen. Now that's it for the 3.1 notes. Reminder that we will have another video just like this next week with the next update. So subscribe and tick that bell so you don't miss it in your sub box, ladies and gentlemen. And leave a comment down below. Tell me what was the best part of these patch notes. What change in 3.1 is the one that has you most excited? Me personally, it's got to be the breakthrough maps. I absolutely skip orbital in so many of the maps because of those rooftop objectives. It's just exhausting, and this is really going to open up so many more ways for me to play, and I'm all for it. So thank you again for your support, guys. I will see you with another video tomorrow and another update one next week.